You can call me stupid. Listen, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy. You can say I'm weak. You think that using her would get to me. And if you're right, then you're in trouble, D. 'Cause I won't break, no, I know I won't wait. You're in trouble, D.
Join us next for the good, the bad, and the sexy as we conclude our amazing interview with Katie Ketter.
You can say I'm weak. You think that using her would get to me. And if you're right, then you're in trouble, D. 'Cause I won't break, no, I know I won't wait.
So why is Satan still important, right? So Christians aren't being persecuted. Christianity is the number one practiced religion in the United States. There's lots of sources to cite that. It's certainly, I mean, the Catholic, we've talked a little bit about this. The Catholic Church is one of the richest organizations. Anyway, why when Christians aren't still being persecuted, and as a Jew, I'm going to stand by that, why is there still the need for Satan? And what it boils down to is where do you hear a lot of this spiritual warfare come from? A lot of it comes from the Black and African American churches in the United States. There is an actual spiritual war that they fight every day. So where does that come from? A lot of it comes from systematic governmental oppression, which is where we circle back. We hit it from the early Jews, or Hebrews, the early Jews, the fight to the Babylonians, the early Christians. They were all going through this terrible governmental oppression. And there had to be a name for it. And the thesis of the paper is that, because there are still certain Christians that are fighting systematic government oppression, there still is a need for a evil spiritual deity that is causing that. So interesting. It's a long and crazy and wild ride.
Yeah, I started reading it, and it was pretty captivating from the beginning. So it had me wanting to read more. It's a shame that you never got it published. But with that said, I have a couple counters. I don't know if Nikki does, but let me throw mine at you.
Yeah, I got one.
And it's just a question. So when you did the paper and you titled it with the label of Satan, now did you research the other names that go with it, like Magog or Lucifer, and
I
things
did.
like that?
I did, and I think that there are. In fact, I actually had to, in the paper, condense the word Satan and Lucifer because it was written in Hebrew, and I didn't want to confuse everybody. It still is one of those things that was an adjective that became personified in a lot of those cases. Hell, Gehenna, is the same way. It just kind of morphs verbally. Are you familiar with the Hell, Gehenna thing? Okay. Maybe we did talk a little bit about this. It was a garbage pit. Gehenna was a flaming garbage pit that it eventually turned into the word hell, which is, kind of this whole underworld fiery pit. It was a garbage pit. And people would send people there because they were the downtrodden and spit upon in the community. And we all really, we haven't changed a whole lot, have we?
Sorry. And then my last question, and then I'll let Nikki throw it out there. Now, in your spirituality, do you believe there is a good and evil? Do you believe that, okay, let's say not Lucifer and 1/3 of the angels, do you believe the Watchers, or what people refer to as the fallen angels or the Nephilim. And a lot of people also believe from the Nephilim, they bred with man and created the Rephaim, or the Rephaim, or Rephaim. It begins with an R, and I want to say the Rephaim.
Yeah, that.
And when they die, that their actual souls are disembodied. They have nowhere to go. They can't go to heaven. They can't go to hell. So that is what gives us demons in today's society.
Sure.
So have you ever heard that?
I have. No. I have. So I think part of this, is my own spirituality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm certainly not saying anybody is wrong for believing this, but I don't believe in hell. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in Satan. I'm just going to reset my camera. Mm-hmm. There we go. I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in a deity evil. I don't really believe that evil is necessarily, I think it's something that we kind of manifest. And
karma?
That's not to say that I don't tell people to go to hell all the time. Because
go to Gahana right now.
Yeah, right. But I think it's fun to dig into some of that stuff. I certainly think that, myths and that spirituality and that, kind of, wonder is a good thing. It's just that isn't a portion that I subscribe to. Mm-hmm. Totally cool. Because I don't want to introduce that into my life. I don't want to introduce evil and that sort of thing. And, once you think it's real, then it's real. Mm-hmm. And so I choose not to believe that portion is real. Now that also balances out with, I don't necessarily believe that there is like an all good. I mean, I believe in God, but I also believe in nature. So I believe that there's a balance. But I don't believe in like angels so much. I think it's great that people do because they need that, and that's fine. That's just not something that I personally subscribe to. But again, like it's neat to and interesting. And if you're getting something from that, like mm-hmm. I don't ever want to take that away. Right. But I don't know that people get a whole lot from believing in evil. Mm-hmm. So I think it's good to encourage those good things and those things that bring positivity to your life mm-hmm. and give you good grounds to stand on and push forward, as opposed to believing in something that is actively holding you back. So. Perfect.
All right, Nikki, go ahead, brother. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I just had a question because I was really closely following you. You are Jewish, right?
I am.
Okay. Now, according to Judaism, Satan, which isn't pronounced Satan at all, right? I think it's something like Satan or something like that, right? Am I close?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. That is actually used as, it's a metaphoric word. It's just a descriptive word. So, because I'm not completely enlightened on that religion, can you explain in depth that a little bit more for me? Because I'm trying to follow with what you're saying as far as your beliefs and then on what your paper was about as well, but trying to understand it from your perspective. So.
Sure. So originally, yeah, that it's like a Satan. I'm sure there's a Hebrew speaker out there that's gonna rip us apart for that, but it was originally an adjective, and it was somebody that was treacherous or not like it was a person that was not causing goodwill. It was somebody that was causing like disruption, and it was I could pull it up. they call King David a Satan. But like I said, it's a small s Satan. So it is definitely an adjective. I'm trying to think of a good parallel to that in like the vernacular that we use today, something that is an adjective that we now, a baller.
A baller.
You're such a baller, Nikki.
No. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. There's somebody who's not just doing like bad things all the time.
Well, I just it's the conversion of a describing word into a proper noun. And it wasn't something that was especially for the early Hebrews and Jews, it was never a deity. And in fact, you know, that even believing that there was something that was semi-close to God that was interfering, you know, there is no God other than the one God, according to Jews, right? You don't even want to play with other ideas, you know, for people that are very strict to the order of Judaism. There is nothing else, nothing else. And so that's why, you know, when Jesus was introduced and when the evolution of a of Messianic Jews really came about in those, you know, the early times, that was huge. That was something that was a big, hard divide between Messianic Jews and eventually Christians and Jews. That was one of the big things that divided them, was this notion that, you know, there was another entity, plus the Trinity, the belief that Jesus was God. That was a hard no for Jews. You know, that does not equate. The idea of the Trinity is something that is unfathomable for a Jew. So when that started to evolve, plus the addition of Satan as this evil deity, like hard pass, us Jews are out. Like we couldn't do it. So yeah, adjective turns proper noun.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you know, it's always been something that has bounced around in my head about all religions collectively. They all have their own book, their own Bible, if you would call it that, okay? And they were all written relatively around the same time, right?
No.
And majority have completely different, I mean, just completely different thoughts of how the world started and how we became who we are now, and their guidelines for life and the writings of the things that they witnessed they're not, I mean, there's a lot of differences. And even, I'll give you, they're not all written around the same time, but they're all written a long time ago, and a lot of times cross paths, and they're completely different stories. You know, that's one thing that's always caught my attention.
It's funny.
With my research, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think it's the opposite.
I was going to say, I think they're more similar with the research that I have, because I've come to find that most religions have a virgin birth, you know, one God, one prophet, you know, and that could be, for Muslims, it could be Muhammad and Allah, God and their Jesus. Christians, God and Jesus and Mary. And then a lot of the other religions, if you look, and even the pantheons that have multiple gods, there was a virgin birth by Zeus, say, to a everyday woman. That's how we got, is it Hercules? Or is Hercules and the other? There was Zeus and there was Odin. The Greek and the
Odin is Norse.
Right. So, but also Odin was known to have slept with a normal woman and create a son who was right. I don't know if that was Hercules, but what I'm saying is, from the research that I did, they all seem to follow. There was a pre-flood, you know, there's a pre-diluvian and a post-diluvian world where the world was flooded, And then the one God, the one prophet, the virgin birth. There's so many similarities, but
there's lots of them. There's also lots of similar creation stories. Native American creation stories tend to be very similar to Eastern, Buddhist, Hindu creation stories, which are, very similar to, the Christianity creation story. I think it's important to note that the core of, the big ones really is all about doing unto others and loving your neighbor.
mm-hmm.
And I think that you can draw the line between there's always the little guy, right? Right? Christian little guy, Jewish little guy, the Muslim little guy, the Buddhist little guy, the Hindu little guy. Sorry, I'm just going to get the.
Yeah, you're good.
There we go.
Hey.
There's the little guy, right? And the little guy is always fighting something, and they're just always praying. And then somehow they overcome this difference or this battle or this trial, and they give thanks and things go well again. Like that sort of cyclical story is seen in every religion. And that's not a bad thing, because a lot of them are teaching very similar things: to be faithful, to be humble, to be kind, to be just, to stand up for what you believe in and what is right. And I think that there's a lot more of those broader parallels amongst the big religions than there are. Now, of course, Nick, there's a great argument to be made that there's a lot of differences, right? And I think it's fun to make those flowcharts. But I think when it all boils down to it, this is, I think, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about tonight. I think having a God and having a belief in something is kind of just hardwired into humans. I think a lot of humans anyway. Otherwise, we wouldn't be hearing the same stories, the same parables, the same origins in 2, 3, 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to some of the Egyptian writings. What are they believing in? Gods that help them get from here to there and give you a beautiful afterlife. This beautiful afterlife thing is really one thing that I think hits home with a lot of the big religions too. 5,000 years ago, they were talking about those sorts of things and what to do in the now to get there. So it's you can't dismiss the human want and need for something bigger than ourselves, and our ability as a human to prove that we're worthy to this thing that is bigger than us. And that says a lot. There's a lot that we're fighting wars every day over that. Mm-hmm. Are we all doing it right? Are they doing it right? Is she doing it right? That's tough.
Interesting.
Tough.
It is, yes.
Nick said it is, yes. You've got me.
Do what?
I was like, well, me and you are just both like so quiet tonight, but that's good. Katie is a good captain.
Learning some information.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I say feed your head. That's one of my biggest things. Keep your ears
Jefferson
open.
Airplane had it. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't saying. I think Rich was saying something about feed your head.
Yeah, I just said feed your head. Feed your head, feed your dome. Give it info, call it home. But I appreciate all that. Now, do you have any plans of ever getting either one of those research papers published?
And
what's holding you back?
I don't know. I feel like I could go further. I feel like I could write 20 or 30 more pages on both of them.
Well, why don't you do that? You know, the mother company of the big show is called BRRS-MEDIA for a reason. We do all medians of media, and publishing will be in our future. So you should think about that.
We'll think about it. You know,
I know I'm saying you need to think about, not for us, but to go back. If you think you could add 20, 30 new pages or maybe change up a little bit of it, don't let something hold you back from doing it. Because I think you have a story to tell.
Absolutely. You know, it's not big, new, profane ideas from Katie. I've sourced several people. Eileen Pagels, who has written lots and lots of stuff. She's brilliant. She writes a lot of stuff on Satan. I highly encourage people to look up her books. She is an academic, so her stuff is going to talk about a lot of the historical context of biblical and writings. But she's brilliant if you ever want to look into anything more.
Okay.
You know, it's hard. It's hard to write academically when you're not in academia every day. You know, when you're not teaching it every day, when you're not talking to other academics every day. You know, I work. You know, I'm a mom. I've got, you know, the scout den leader. You know,
right.
So there's stuff that I'm doing, and I'm a research hound.
With that said, what is your stance on aliens or other life forms, extraterrestrials, or what even the Native Americans here would say, the star gods?
Yeah. So universe is too big. It's so big, and I think the Fermi theory about it's so old and so big that there's no chance it ever happened. I like to think that we can't be the only species. I hate to think that we're in a point in the universe's life to where we've missed a lot of them, but I'm sure that that's happened. I don't ever want to downplay the thought or the theory or the chance that there's other life forms. I think they've probably been here and said hi. A lot of people have, you know, met them according to their stuff. You know, I don't ever really want to meet an alien, but I think I think it's cool. I think that there's probably a lot that we could learn. I think that we're all too stupid right now.
They probably just drive by and go, oh yeah, keep going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roll them up, kids. Roll them up.
Yeah, we're horrible.
But no, the universe is too vast and too big, and there's so many things. I mean, we learn new stuff about the universe every day. It wouldn't surprise me for a second to figure out or to learn that we're not alone.
Okay. Awesome.
For sure.
All right, I got a lightning round for you. I'm gonna fire off 5 questions. Most of them will be just yes/no answers.
Okay.
I'll probably just name a word, and then yes meaning okay, I believe, or no being like no.
Okay.
Bigfoot.
No.
Okay. If you're gonna say no to Bigfoot, I was gonna say dogmen or other type of hybrids that might have been from the past, centaurs, mermaids, things of that sort.
No.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good. Okay. The firmament, does it exist? Are we able to penetrate that to go to space?
Sure.
Okay. Did we go to the moon?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last one is going to be kind of a multiple choice. Is the Earth flat, round, or as Neil Tyson deGrasse says, pear-shaped?
I love Neil. I'm gonna go with round. I'm not a flat earther. But I understand why Neil says it's pear.
All great answers. Nick, you got
Science.
anything you want to fire at her?
No, I don't think so.
No. Now, here's what I will say. Because I am not the kind of person that's like a good yes or no person, because I'm always wanting to lawyer it up and go above and beyond.
I got you.
Bigfoot and mermaids and all that stuff. Like, I would love to believe in that sort of thing. I want that sort of whimsy. I want that sort of like extra beyond, things that we're unaware of. Like, and like, if I see it, I'm down with it. Like, right. I believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal. Like, I love that sort of thing. I want to believe in magic. I don't want to take away that whimsy. And I would never, ever, ever, like, if somebody in their heart believed, like, I believe in Bigfoot, that is something that I have seen, there is this and this and this, like, you know what? You believe in Bigfoot. That's totally cool. I don't want to take that away from it.
I'm a believer. I'm still a big kid when it comes to Bigfoot and Dogman and mystical hybrids or mythological. In my heart, I feel they existed. Even giants. I feel that giants were here at one point. Obviously, we wouldn't be finding bones. Early in the early 1900s, we used to find tons and tons of skeletons that were 12 to 16 foot tall. And even the Hopi Indians talk about the red-bearded giants that would come down and eat their livestock, the people, and would rape and pillage. So it makes you wonder, research time.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, no, and I'm not gonna take that take from you. Look, if you snapped your fingers and everything in Harry Potter was real, I'd be the happiest person in the world. Like, don't think for a second.
It's not working tonight. No. I tried to turn your roof. Then I'd give you a barrel of eels and stuff like that. That's all I remember from going to Harry Potter at Walt Disney. I think it was Walt Disney. Walt Disney.
Yeah. And, it's down by Walt Disney. It's at Universal. We're actually taking the kids there this winter.
Yeah, we went. I took my son and my brother in 2017, and we had a blast down there. It was great. And my youngest daughter, and we did everything. We were there 10 days. But all I remember is I took a picture of the barrel of eels in Harry Potter's little land, and then the little Nomi guy that was counting the money, because he's like, "Hey, you, come here. Do you have something to deposit?" And he's like standing on a box. I don't know. It's weird, but that's what I took away from it.
You were Gringotts.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't a big Potter fan, but not that I didn't like it, because I watched all of them. I never really got it. You went.
That's all right. I'm gonna reset.
Yeah.
Come back, camera.
She's in the spirit world.
There we go.
She just crossed over. She parallel. What's your thoughts on 5G before we go? 5G, or even, with quantum physics right now, they have qubit, and they've got a machine that they've built. I forget the name of it, but it actually processes so fast that they're saying that it can open a portal to a parallel universe that we can enter, steal their resources, and come back.
Awesome, let's do it.
Is that not what a guy on TED Talk was talking about? He's the one who actually created this quantum physics, and they're called qubits.
Interesting.
Yeah, look into that. It was wild. It blew my mind. I just wanted to bring it up. And then with the whole 5G thing coming up, there's a guy that I watched that puts these up, and he basically said that their radio frequency is so short and so powerful that it could boil all the water in our body. Yeah, no bueno. That's scary. So, and he was talking about that.
But try telling that to the rest of the world that thinks, having that fast phone is like really a cool thing.
Well, that's what he said, because he comes on and he goes, "Hey guys, I just got out of my 5G training. And I just want to tell you, all of you that are watching this 40 years in the future, sorry for your webbed feet and your tumored body, but you had to have faster speeds. Everything's got to be instant nowadays." He goes, "I need a job, so I'm going to keep putting them up." But the way he was doing it is like 4G waves are like this, and they will affect you over time. 5G is like this, just small bursts, super quick, and they got to have them everywhere. And the frequency is whatever the harmonic vibration frequency it's on. It can control our molecules in our body. Look into that. When I have you back on, I'm going to ask you about it.
I've always said when 5G is the only option I have, people that know me are going to have to start writing me letters.
Yeah.
I'm
the
done.
same way.
I will drop out of it.
I'm scared of 5G. I've been researching it myself. Yeah.
And it's not new technology, In fact, T-Mobile bought all their crap from the military to get their 5G program going because the military was already using it for quite some time.
Yeah.
And that's why T-Mobile locked like Verizon and Sprint and all those cats out of the way, because they're in line with that technology, period.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I watched, you talked about how they have to put a lot of units up like all over the place.
Right.
And basically they're creating a blanket over the United States with those. I mean, it's ridiculous. The technology is ridiculous. And I'm going to say, if people want to believe in quantum physics and going to another time and coming back with technology, they better first realize what 5G is all about.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you believe we can do that, that you better believe in 5G's horrible capabilities.
Yeah, because we're treading on cracking open Pandora's box a little too far with some of the technology that we do mess with. I mean, if you look where we've come, and I'll say this to you, Katie, as well, just from 1950 to 2020, that's 70 years. Look where 1950 we had black and white TVs, and you had a cordless rotary dial-up phone. Within 70 years now, the three of us are talking across country on video cameras, So the leaps and bounds we've taken technology-wise as a species. I mean, we go for thousands of years riding horseback, then to automobiles, a little bit of photography, and then boom, the last 70 years, everything is just almost like the box was open and we have all the toys to play with, but for a limited time, because we're probably going to blow ourselves up.
Well, I'll say this. I think the best thing for humanity, at least in this country, is for us to lose our power grids completely.
Oh, period. I would like that. You know why? We could garden all the time. You could go to the beach, you could fish, you could hunt, you could be at the lake, and we could live on the earth. I think we're hunter-gatherers by nature, so that's what we need to do.
We are, dude. Look, people go camping all the time.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, okay, technology is great to an extent. I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too. We can't live without it, obviously, now.
Oh, I can.
Well, no, we can, but what I'm saying is like everyday life. Like we need phones for work. We need computers for work.
But but you know what? But I think society needs to, I think we need a slap in the face as a whole. Society does. We need to simplify life again, and I'm going to tell you why, because nobody fully grasps the concept of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a society thing all around. People have two car payments, house payments. They're miserable. Their kids are jerks because they're not raising them because somebody else is spending 10 hours a day with them instead of their parents, because it's forced, because we have to have all these great things. But when those things are not available, we have to either get with the program and learn how to do things and live, which, believe me, that would be a very humbling experience for all of humanity. But we have to learn how to do those things. We have to get back to nature. That's where we are at our best as human beings.
And I agree. And it's not just that, it's simple things. It's cursive writing. You know that the average senior in high school can't even write in cursive. That's a shame.
I do.
My son is 17 years old, and his cursive looks like he's 3. And then when I try to tell him to write a paper in cursive, he's like, I can't. It'll take too long. You know, and I used to pride myself, and I know we're getting off on different things, but it's just the simple things like that, you know.
It's all relative, bro.
And it's like we were built to kill for our food or to grow our food, not to go to McDonald's, not to go to the store and get it. We were meant to barter. And that's how I feel. I know it's just me. And I think that one day we will be back to that because, men, we're too mischievous, and we think too big, and we go too far, and we research too hard. And I find myself doing that. But it's going to all come back around to where we're going to have to rely on hunting, fishing, building, leather making, blacksmithing, once again, because there will be a time where we run out of energy or something like that, you know, because we refuse to use solar because they make too much money off petroleum and electric, you know, and there's a reason that Tesla was off, you know, or all his stuff wasn't. Tesla had the answers to a lot of things, and he was brilliant.
Oh, totally brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny, with what I do, you want to talk about energy, just sidetrack really quick.
No,
I
yeah,
actually, I work with, I don't want to say what I do, but I sell software. So I talk to a lot of people in a lot of different industries. And I was talking to a gentleman in Texas who does a lot with wind energy. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, I just, I could have made myself a millionaire. He goes, I work with a client that bought like 280 acres or something like that, made it all a wind farm, had the service station there, couldn't get anyone to buy the energy because none of the local governments and surrounding areas would pay to connect the station house to the surrounding communities. So this guy was stuck with more energy than he knew what to do with all these wind turbines that are now up and creating electricity. And because nobody wanted to pay for the initial setup to get that all done, he was stuck.
They're all over here in Oklahoma, and they create so much energy that basically, if you just put 1 or 2 up and you personally own them, the electric company would have to cut you a check each month because you're producing more energy than you're consuming. But yet we all pay these astronomical electric bills of $100 to $300 a month, you know, depending on where you live.
At least.
Right.
At least. Yeah. Yeah. But
And,
no,
you know, I read an article. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, nobody wants to make the initial investment to get those things up and going. It's awful. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
I read an article this morning. I want to say it's in the Houston area, but the electric company there now is offering solar panels to homeowners whose electric bill is over $100 a month.
Okay.
And I found that to be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. Rare.
But it's rare, yeah. That's why the article caught my attention to begin with, because look how crazy that is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good thing. I mean, it's a start, you know.
Yeah. It is a start. I know one of the big kind of scams with solar energy around here, and I'm on the East Coast, so I don't know if it's like this everywhere, is these solar energy companies will come to you and they'll say, so it's gonna cut your electric bill by 60% a month. It's gonna be great, but you don't own the solar panels. you have a 20-year lease on them. So,
Damn.
right. Also, fun fact, if you don't own the solar panels and you lease them, it can void the warranty on your roof.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Now, if you are 8 years into your lease on your solar panels and you go to sell your home, there's a couple things that they can make you do. One, they can make you remove the solar panels that you are leasing and move them to your new home, and now leaving you with a subpar roof that's probably not under warranty for your new buyers. Or you can pay to transfer the lease to the new buyers, and it costs a crap ton of money to do. You gotta be really careful with how you, and that's bullshit. Like,
It is.
this should not be a game with people's investments. This should not be a game in people's like financial stability and in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just trying to do better for the environment, better on our pocketbooks, and not pump chemicals into the air. Like, this should not be that hard.
Right.
What a shitty thing to scam. Come on.
Oh, you and Nick are all one with this now.
Well, you know, here's a fact. This is 100% factual. For $10,000, you don't have to purchase power from a utility company ever again.
Wow. Well, how are you going to do that? All right, well, explain. Enlighten me.
Okay. You can buy your solar panels. If you do your research right, you can get quality solar panels for a very reasonable cost. And I'm telling you, a reasonable cost being $100 per panel.
Okay.
You do have to put in some work of your own. You do have to run the electric yourself. You're not getting installation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have any kind of brains or the lack thereof and know how to use YouTube, you can figure it out. But the whole thing runs on those solar panels at $100 a pop. The most expensive thing collectively that costs you money in sourcing your house to solar is your batteries. But a lot of people are now moving to more expensive batteries that have a longer life, like the batteries that come in Teslas.
Mm-hmm.
Those last a very long time, and you're able to take those and jump them amongst 9 other batteries. But collectively on the cost of that, and I can get the breakdown if you guys wanted it of each part of it or item of that, but you're looking at $10,000, period. Now, the problem with that is if you live in inner city anywhere in the United States, metropolitan area, you are not allowed by their laws to go 100% solar.
Right.
Now that, to me, and I'm going to use the word of the night, is bullshit. That's bullshit. They're going to charge you for something that falls out of the sky, like water. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense, man. It's horrible, and we as a society have been dumb enough to allow that to happen over the years. Not singling any one person or persons out, but we as a society have just been dumb, and we've allowed that to happen to us. That's, not to go off on another angle, but our Constitution was written to protect us from those kinds of things happening. But,
Yeah, I mean, right here it's illegal. You cannot use full solar. You cannot use rainwater as your only source of water. They will condemn your house. So basically, if you wanted to even live 100% eco and green, most counties, most cities have laws in place that will hinder that from happening. And if you do, they will come out and shut you down in a minute.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy a couple of years back. I don't remember what town it is, but it was just north of Tulsa.
Yeah, it was here in
collecting
Oklahoma.
Rainwater, and that cat went to jail.
And that's
for collecting something that falls out of the sky. That's like saying if you believe in God, you're going to jail because you're not paying for that.
Right.
Wait a minute. What about everybody that's connected to a well? Isn't that basically the same thing?
Yeah, you would think.
Yes and no, and I recently went through that. I pretty much lived off grid for 2 years. When you typically your well will be powered by electricity that's not solar. So that pump you're paying a utility for that. You see what I'm saying?
I got it.
You're paying a co-op. In fact, I did end up having a co-op out there for the electricity. But yeah, that's how people are still able to do that. But unless you buy all the mineral rights to your property, even then they can come in and take water from your well.
Yeah, there's so many laws and rules and regulations. And
you buy land, you only own 12 inches of that surface.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, I don't know, man. I know time has flown by tonight, and I've had a wonderful time having you on. I mean, we've probably talked close to 2 hours.
Yeah, we have.
And it doesn't even feel like it.
It does.
We could talk another 2. But
well, we should do another show then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have you back, Katie. And it's all around your schedule. And if you're interested in coming on when we do certain topics, I know some things you might want to delve in there with us. And I know some things you'll probably be like, stay away. But I'm
always willing to listen.
Yes, I know.
Don't call Katie on Bigfoot night. No, I'm kidding.
No, you know what? No. Call me on Bigfoot night. Make me a believer. I loved Harry and the Hendersons. Make me a believer.
Right?
Right. I'm the same way.
You know what? I'll quickly tell you my standpoint. I'm one of those people. I've got to see it, smell it, touch it, etc. Right? I know it's real kind of person. But the thing with Bigfoot for me is that, yes, it hasn't been proven that Bigfoot exists, but at the same time, it has been proven that he does not exist, or it does not exist. And there's just kind of like a mystery behind it. For me, that's it, chasing the mystery of it, you know? I find that to be fun in itself, and I enjoy the research of it. And again, like I said, until I see one in captivity or something to that degree, you know, I can't say Bigfoot exists. But the mystery definitely grabs me and pulls me in.
It did, yeah. It enamors me and draws me in as well. And not only that, my whole take on it is a spiritual take. Because I firmly believe that they're an offspring of an angel-human type hybrid. But that's just my look at it. I think that's why they're able to traverse. And here's something people always say, well, you never see the dead body, or you never, find hair or this or that. Well, you know what? With gorillas and things like that, they never find the dead bodies of them. And people research them for years. It's because something
is very dead.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. So if a Bigfoot was to die or to get hit or something like that, or a Sasquatch, or there's so many different names for it. What is the other one? Skunk ape, Yeti, yeah. Abominable snowman. I mean, they're all tied together. But
there's probably 40 different names we can't pronounce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it, and I research it, and I look at it from a different angle than most people. And in the community, I'm laughed at for my belief. But then there is a sect of people that believe the same way I do. And they're very intelligent and welly wells. They're noted and well-known scientists and researchers that feel the way that I do. People that have credibility, so to say. We don't all think the same way, like we talked about earlier. And that's why I loved having you on tonight. Your mind is a beautiful thing. And to be able to share with people just your thoughts. I mean, we all have our feelings and thoughts, but when you're able to share it on a platform and express yourself, there's nothing beautiful. It's like painting a picture, So that's how
I appreciate the time. I appreciate the experience. The platform, it's rare people get to this opportunity. So thank you. And I will be back. Next time,
awesome.
let's talk paranormal though.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I wanted to go paranormal with you because that's one thing that I mentioned is, you were a part of a paranormal group up in Chicago, right? Or Illinois, in Northern Illinois.
Up in Northern Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't even scratch the surface on that. You could probably talk for 100 hours.
So many good ghost stories, you guys.
I know. Well, hey, we'll do that next time. We'll have a special with you where we do nothing but talk paranormal.
I love it. Let's plan on that. Let's do that. But thank you.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah. I appreciate you.
And thank you.
No. Let's all do it again and talk soon. But everybody have a great night.
Absolutely.
You too. Thank you.
And with that said, folks, that was Katie Ketter, and we got to enter her mind tonight. Like I said, it was a beautiful thing. And as I always do, God bless. Have a great night and stay safe.